The frustrating thing is I never know what point it comes in on. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm sure I could look at like restream and it would tell me, but it's not like, oh, I think we're live. I don't know. Might be live.
We're something.
I don't know what the hell we are. I just know the date's going to be wrong on this. Always is. There we go. Okay. Yeah, we're going out to the YouTubes. Is that okay? You comfortable with that? Okay.
Ready or not.
Here we come. Should I put us on the sir as well?
I mean, if you want to.
All right, here we go.
For the people that know how to access it.
There we go. All right, it's kicking off now. It's going. Except it says Marty, you and the Merps. That ain't right. Title NetHeads. Let me save that. This is what happens when you. I'm gonna play the intro up again. What the hell? There we go. None will come into us. Okay. Oh, we should be quiet and do a real intro now, huh? Okay. All right.
Hit me!
Episode 277.
You've got to throw some cold water on this situation. Start talking about nerd stuff.
You know, nerd culture is mainstream now, so when you use the word nerd derogatorily, it means you're the one that's out of the zeitgeist.
System activate.
This is NetHeads with Will Wilkins and Trent Hunsaker. It's a tech podcast. But we are a ton cooler than your typical geek, giving you the info you need to achieve mega nerd status. NetHeads.
You guys rock.
And now, here's Will and Trent.
No one listens to the radio. I wasn't even listening. I was listening to podcasts. Podcasts are great. Radio's boring.
Or so they tell me. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Another edition of NetHeads. My name is Will.
And I'm Trent.
If you want to take part in the program, you can one of many ways. It's really pretty much just one, but I've been saying that for so many episodes. Can't let it go.
It's true.
One of them is Twitter. Trent, let's pretend like the kids don't know how to do that.
Use the hashtag NetHeads, just like RollerDogNC is, and then you can be part of the show. You can tell us what we're wrong, what we thought about stuff, or whatever. Listening live or on the podcast, we'll respond.
There
usually.
you go. Yeah, that's good. And also, even though I never powered up or I'll always miss your phone calls, you could do it Skype NetHeads on there. It's just that damn simple. Speaking of which. Got to address the elephant in the room. One of those things. It's always wonderful. Oh, thank you. And a little extra noise there. That's just what I needed. We always go through these things when we go to do the podcast, right? It's like, okay, well, what time we're going to start? What time are we going to start? And I try to keep, I don't want to say a tight ship. I don't want to say I'm a regimented kind of guy. I don't want to say that, you know what? Forget the Skype. It's not working.
Yeah.
But I'm always like, okay, so you're going to be on time, Trent. You're going to be on time, right? Now, it's funny when you tell somebody else that you're going to be ready to podcast, you should be ready to podcast. That's one thing. But the flip side too is you would think if you did something like you got a new computer in your studio, you might remember that and get things ready ahead of time. I'm not talking about Trent.
Yeah, no, not me.
No, it was me. Unfortunately, I totally forgot the fact that I had a new computer to set up here in studio, and so Trent waited patiently while I literally went through every bit. I mean, he can't even see me right now. Still, that's one of the shortcomings we have. Although I will say your video has never looked better, Trent. So.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So that's probably because we're not choking up the pipe with my stupid image. So that's good. Well, because, trying to contain this large of a head within a regular tiny computer window frame never works out well.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, so...
Well, I mean, I can't.
No, not today. Not
No.
today. Okay, NetHeads on air via Skype might work. Just roll with it. Stop making extra noises, computers. Just knock it off. Sorry.
Beep, boop.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So anyway, I forgot that. So we had to literally go through the video driver, and then of course, new computer comes with the new version of Skype, which really can suck my left one. And so, inadvertently during the setup, I think I blocked the camera from being accessible, so I got to work that issue out later. All I'm saying is, generally, it's probably more polite to be ready in advance, and I'm sorry. But Trent, I got to admit, I've been having a lot of diversity going on in here. I'm not going to lie.
As they say, life happens. When you make a plan, life happens.
It does. It does. And your life is on hold because you have literally gotten home and been ready since 6:30, no dinner. The dog just briefly saw you, I'm sure. You were like a big blur that just went through the house.
Yeah, we had time. I took him outside and squirted him off because that's how we keep cool in our house is through evaporation. And and so he's just laying here in front of the fan.
Oh, very good.
Like he does.
Oh, cool. And the new version of Skype is playing audio, so that's wonderful.
Nice.
Don't even
Thanks.
know if it's working, but hey, caller, are you there?
Yeah, it sounds like it's working to me.
Oh, well, Trent, could you hear the caller?
I can hear the caller.
Oh, there are some small miracles. It's Ryan Connolly, everybody. Carval on Twitter. By the way, if I've asked this, I'm sorry that I don't know the answer, sir, but what is the origination of the name? Because I've never pondered that.
And it's spelled differently than like the ice cream company.
Yeah, it's not Carvel. We're not talking Fudgy the Whale. Now I'm
Right.
suddenly thinking maybe we have had this conversation before.
Well, you guys have always made fun of it for sounding like that.
Oh, okay. Well, that sounds like us. That's for sure.
No, it's a D&D character. It's actually my very, very first D&D character.
Oh, okay. Well, that's all right then.
What was it? Do you remember?
Fighter.
Okay. Human?
Yeah, I'm talking advanced Dungeons and Dragons, Trent. You might not be old enough to remember that one.
So this is like version 1?
No, more like 2-ish.
Yeah. It still predates me.
Yeah, this is well before 3rd, 4th, 5th edition.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, my first EverQuest character was a barbarian warrior named Gromdar. That's the closest I can come to a D&D claim. I tried running a few campaigns with a friend, but he didn't really know what he was doing either, and honestly, I think he just wanted to touch me inappropriately, so it just didn't go well, Trent. I'm not going to lie. But anyway, yeah, Ryan, how are you, sir? What's the nature of your phone call today, other than the fact we're live and you wanted to call?
I've never actually called using Skype. Usually I call using my cell phone and dialing the actual number.
That's true.
But I actually have a setup that might sound good, so...
Well, you definitely sound better. Yeah, that's for sure. This is part of the reason why we encourage the use of Skype and not talking about a phone number, because as you can hear now, he has the sound that is that's superior to the standard phone. And Trent, I know you've never dabbled into the Apple world, but like if you're an iPhone user and you call another iPhone user and you're both on Wi-Fi, you get a much different fidelity experience there. It's almost like a VoIP call that we're making via Skype with the level of clarity.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. So it automatically uses the VoIP instead of the cell tower.
Yeah, I think so in some ways. Anyway, but Ryan, you do sound good, so that's really cool, and it's exciting that you're trying out this new calling area and calling venue, and I actually made it work. So I'm sure everyone's really thrilled that we did this beta test for them. How's everything going though? Trent. Recently, I've been taking a lot of crap from Ryan via the Twitter and the like because where he works, he is actually the smart home expert. Are you aware of this?
Yeah, I just out of the last show we did, and I'm glad you called, Ryan, because I want to ask more about, was it the Harmony remote control you suggested?
Yeah, the Harmony remote control will do a whole bunch of awesome stuff.
Can I control my the stuff I'm watching through my phone through my Chromecast with it?
Yep, or through voice through your Chromecast.
Yeah,
I'm sold.
Yeah, you like that?
I'm gonna order one right now.
Is that the big sexy you're looking for?
The Harmony Hub.
Go on.
You don't even need a Harmony remote control. You can just buy a Harmony Hub, and then set it up, you could put all your stuff in a closet, in a drawer in the cabinet that your TV's on, and control everything either via voice through Siri, Alexa, if you want to use one of those bad voice assistants, or you can use the superior one, Google.
He's not gonna let that go. As a matter of fact, Trent, the Echo Dot that still hasn't gotten its way to you yet. Once you get it, you could tell it like, hey, Alexa, turn on Fire TV and cancel. I keep forgetting there's one in here.
Okay. Secondary hub. Okay.
Oh shit, she's talking.
Yeah. Anyway,
Well, see, that's my biggest problem is like through for example, say like my Hulu interface on my phone through my Chromecast, like being able, like I just want to fast forward a little bit, but then I got like these fat fingers and I'm trying to like get to the right spot or whatever. So that's what I'm looking for. It's something that will let me like fast forward with like some analog feel to it.
Well, you could actually, I believe, I haven't tried it, but anecdotal information I have says you could actually tell one of these voice assistants to jump a certain amount of time ahead.
Interesting. I'm going to look into this.
Right now, I'm having a hard enough time getting Alexa to adjust the volume on the TV. So, because Trent, as you know from the last show, we have been preparing for the cord cutting, if you will, and not the cool kind with a baby, but the other cool kind that will save me money.
Yes.
And as a matter of fact, I've been it's been a gradual thing, and we have now, I think, gotten to the point where we're almost going to direct TV now in order to do our television viewing.
Nice, attaboy.
Right? And so, but right now, the problem is like telling the digital assistant, turn TV down or turn TV up. Sometimes it thinks it says turn TV off. That ain't cool. And so we're having those little problems. But I would love to have the jump feature back in because for the longest time when I was on Comcast, I had that wonderful 30-second jump.
Yes, it's so great.
It was, and now it's gone because, new receivers, and they don't want you doing that. So I will have to look into that. So thank you for that tip, Ryan. We should almost, even if you don't know if you're going to be able to call in, I wonder if we should start getting from you like a smart home update every well, I'm gonna optimistically say every week, but realistically for each show. Are you open to that?
Yeah, if anybody has any questions, they can go ahead and either write into you guys or me.
There we go. Or you could pose your question to Ryan on hashtag NetHeads, and we'll go ahead and we'll collect a few of them, and that way, even if we're not able to do a phone call, we can still include you on the show in those moments, if you don't mind. I think that's great.
I do too.
That would be awesome. I just want to know if Trent followed the tweets about the Wi-Fi setup. That was really what got me going at Will Wilkins.
No.
Are you going to expand on that, or are you just going to leave that like a dangling participle?
The internet ate Trent for a minute there, so.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry about that.
If he would have, when he set up the new Wi-Fi router, if he just would have named it the same thing as the old Wi-Fi router and gave it the same password as the old Wi-Fi router, everything in his house would have went, ooh, the same Wi-Fi router, and just continued to connect to it.
I completely agree with you, and
without having it as the same address.
Yes, because all it does is it looks for the station ID. That's what it's looking for, and then if the password matches, it'll sync up. But no, the exact reason why I didn't want to do that, believe it or not, there's a reason, Ryan, and it's because I didn't want everybody coming back to my house and being able to jump on my Wi-Fi, because every time a big group of people have come in, inevitably I have to restart everything because of the address allocations. I don't know, something about the DHCP leases. I don't know what it is. But with my new one, I have the ability to create just a guest network on demand when they're here that I can then just kill once they've left and get them the hell off. And plus, I wanted to come up with something clever for, like, when I temporarily enabled the one on the Xfinity wireless router so that I could hog that bandwidth all myself. Like, I named that one My Ex Wi-Fi because I thought that would be funny, right?
It was fun.
And now my And now my new network name, because unfortunately I burned the bridge with that one really quick, I ended up naming it's Wi-Fi, but it's WHY hyphen PH or PI. Y at PHI. So it's Wi-Fi.
Fi.
Right?
Ah.
So, yeah, not as clever, I know.
That joke fell flat.
Yeah, well, thankfully so is my stomach, so things are going well. Anyway, Ryan.
Which diet are you on?
I don't. I've adjusted my lifestyle. I don't believe in a diet. I just believe in eating healthier and making better choices and controlling my portions. Because that's the only way to be successful. And otherwise, I'm going to feel like I'm denying myself something. Or I'm...
Don't get on the keto diet. It's the worst ever.
Dude, it's such, like, everyone in my office is on it right now.
My brother-in-law has done it, and he is, he has dropped tons of weight. I'm doing it the old-fashioned way. I'm just trying not to eat processed stuff. I'm trying to exercise. Two very simple principles.
I mean, the diet's pretty awesome. I went to Texas Roadhouse and had an 11-ounce steak and a side of ribs, and no one looked at me funny. But I wasn't able to have potatoes or corn, which just kind of like made me think I was missing something.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, right? But then again, I tonight we had everybody wanted to tune in for this, I'm sure. But tonight we had like spaghetti and meatballs and there was a Caesar salad, and I just in this case I just went with portion control, just try and not eat a lot. I mean, my wife jokingly said, can you really handle all that bread? Because it was already the skinny Columbo loaf that you can get at the grocery store in the pre-map package. And, I mean, it wasn't much bigger than the size of a Zippo lighter, if you want to compare it to something. The one piece of garlic bread I enjoyed. And that was just to mop up the sauce, because, that's what it's there for, right, Trent? You got to mop up the sauce with it.
Well, and you bring up a good point, too, because, the keto diet is very specialized as far as, the things it you should be eating and things you shouldn't. And that's hard to do when you're not eating alone. Do you know what I mean? Like when you do you just make two separate meals, one for you and one for everyone else? Like that's for me, it would be easier to manage because I don't have, anyone else eating in the house with me.
Well, yeah, but when you're doing something like, trivia at the Beehive Grill every Wednesday night in Logan, Utah, the last thing you want to do is customize your order for that wonderful meal that you get every week, right? Come on.
Buffalo wings are keto friendly.
Oh,
if they're not battered.
Yeah, see?
Yes,
yeah.
And they shouldn't be battered. Anybody who batters their buffalo wings needs to be slapped.
Wow, a lot of Ryan, I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm thinking you're a man of conviction and beliefs that things to be a certain way, and that's just it. Is that the case?
Well, especially with my buffalo wings, I've had buffalo wings in more states than most people have been to. So I consider myself a bit of a connoisseur, and somebody who tells me that they should be breaded has never had real buffalo wings from any place that says they are authentic.
Well,
from Buffalo.
Yeah. Well, I've never had wings from Buffalo. I just know that what do we have here? We have two of the quote unquote wing chains. There's the Wing Stop, and there is a Buffalo Wild Wings. And I've had food from either one of them. And the only thing I know about wings is that I never feel good after I have them. I guess that's the best way to put it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then you're not doing it right.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry for that, Ryan. I apologize. I'll try and do better. It's all I can promise. That's all I can promise.
Here's the one thing about wings. Anybody who says you got to eat the hottest sauce there is crazy. I can eat some hot wing sauce, but I want to taste my chicken too. So I usually go mild or medium just so I can taste my chicken and my sauce. I'm not wanting to burn my mouth. I'll go there with you if you throw the gauntlet down, but that's not how I enjoy my wings.
I don't blame you.
And for me, it's because I just don't want to feel it, later that evening. You know what I mean?
Too.
Or the next morning, whenever it should happen, if you will. I completely.
When I'm just laying there in bed thinking I have made some poor life decisions today.
When you're thinking about bringing a cup of ice to the bathroom, you've made some poor choices, Trent. That's all I'm saying.
I agree.
But no, I've been there because and don't get me wrong, I like spice. I've got a friend that makes a wonderful pepper sauce that's made with. He's got like serrano. What is it? Habanero.
Oh, yeah.
And ghost peppers are all in it, and I love it. But I have it in finite quantities. I think the other reason why I probably got turned off of wings, though, was the one time I went to make them gluten-free here at home for my sister-in-law, and that's when I discovered that the key to making a buffalo sauce is essentially, for lack of a better term, it's basically the Frank's hot sauce that you then you combine with butter. So that's the congealing and binding element.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, well, I know everything's better with butter, but I don't think I can handle that much. Not that look, I'm not going to judge. You want to have wings, that's fine. I'm okay with it, but
have the
holy moly.
wings.
Right.
But butter, hot sauce, salt, pepper, garlic, that's all you need. Buffalo Wild Wings sauce is way too thick, but they're good.
I'll take your word for it.
I just feel like everything, like Buffalo Wild Wings, in my opinion, is a lot like Taco Bell in that, like, it's all the same stuff, just in different, like, with different, like, variations. Like, it's all the same wing, right? They're not cooking them any different. They're just, like, pouring something out of a bottle that's different for each order.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the life of me, I can't figure out why his audio is probably not coming in through real well, but that's part of the reason why we got to stretch up. Anyway, Ryan, we got a rest of the program to go. We got a guy sitting on the other end of the line that he hasn't even had a life yet tonight, so I want to thank you for the call, though. Really appreciate it, and I'm going to hold you to, some of that smart home advice, if you will.
Right on. That's what I love doing.
There you go. Well, thank you very much, sir, for your call, and have a good one.
Talk to you guys later.
All righty.
Nah.
Hopefully I turned off the annoying... no, I just heard another sound.
Oh.
God damn it. Anyway. Trent, obviously, and that's, I've had a few woes. I was before Ryan called, and thank you, really, sir. Appreciate your phone call. I love the phone calls. It's one of the key elements I missed. And realistically speaking, it's really the only reason why you'd really want to go live would be that live interaction as well, So, because if you don't have that, then what's your goddamn point, right? So, anyway, we may get a loud, annoying notification again, even though I've tried to turn them off, but we'll see. Anyway, I've had some diversity in the studio. One of the things that I have had is that the big, beautiful mixer that I love so much, the Mackie, it really needs to be properly cleaned. We've got issues
like from day one. Like, it was just never properly stored right before you got it.
Yeah, let's just put it that way. Yeah. That's a good interpretation, Trent. It wasn't properly. I don't even want to say it wasn't properly cared for. It's not like anyone was told, hey, when you're not using this, put a cover on it.
Cover this up. Yeah, exactly.
Nobody said anything about that. So anyway, it needs a lot of work, and I got to swap it out, and that's part of the reason why I really wanted to talk to you tonight, because I'm chomping at the bit to rip this out, and
gonna turn this mother out.
Pretty much. So, but we got something cool lined up to go in there. Was a piece of equipment that we received that was supposed to go somewhere else, but the level of complexity was deemed too high. So once again, we get to take the benefit of it. And I'm really looking forward to that. More of a digital interface. I don't want to talk about the model number now. We'll talk about it later once I know it works. Otherwise, this is just going to go get cleaned. I don't know. Maybe I'll use it cheap. I don't know what's going to happen. But the other adversity I have actually brings us to a very legitimate NetHeads topic, Trent. I know. Well, I mean, we've already delved now into smart homes and Wi-Fi. I mean, I don't know what it is lately. It's kind of like we went off in our own direction. It was all TV shows and Rick and Morty and all that. And then now suddenly we come back and it's like every week there's a new tech topic. But we do have another one because Trent, that's right. You can't see me, but I'm holding in my hand here a Barracuda 3000 gigabit hard drive. That previously was a network accessible hard drive, and está muerto, señor.
But is no longer network accessible.
And so I figured we might go ahead and talk a little bit about some of the things you might want to do. Now, Trent, let's say it's not even a network accessible one. Let's remove that from the equation for a moment, okay? But let's just say you have a secondary hard drive in your computer, right? Or maybe not even your computer. Let's say it's external. Okay, in this case, we are going to stick with the fact that it's a network accessible drive. I lied. And the reason why I lied, Trent, is because I'm a no good, dirty, liar, pants on fire man. But no, in this case, it'll all make sense. Either way, what I'm getting at is, Trent, if you do have a hard drive failure, what do you think is the most important thing to do first?
Turn it off.
That is exactly right. You don't want to use it anymore because at this point you are now in, especially if you might have to get data back off of it, you are now in very dangerous territory because if you start writing to it, you could ruin it. I can tell you all of the steps I did wrong in my hubris, and I can share them with you now because I'm a man of means. I have tools. I have an awesome set. My dad's not a TV repairman, but I do have an awesome set of tools at my what's the word?
Disposal.
Thank you very much. I knew we'd get there eventually. So, and also I have a bit of expertise. So you think I would know better. I don't. I had a wonderful tool. It's an external tool. It'll let you via USB hook up any SATA drive, actually any type of hard drive, and that way you can instantly access it and start doing diagnostics. But things have changed a little bit since I've really troubleshooted these things, and through the USB interface or through that particular interface, there are certain size limitations.
Okay.
So, because the first thing I did is, naturally...
Something I'm definitely not familiar with.
Yeah, well, no, I have size limitations as well. They're called genetics. So, the first thing I wanted to do was I wanted to make sure I could try and save the data on here because honestly, I have a complex system here. I have several different hard drives. I don't know how much of this one was backed up to another one and that kind of thing. And, when it comes to hard drives, if you have you don't want to get into having backups of your backups of your backups, but if you've backed it up once, you've backed it up none. If you've backed it up twice, you're generally covered. Right. And I tried to do that.
As long as it's not on the same device.
Pretty much, yeah. That's the one thing you want to stay away from. So my first concern was to try and see if I could rescue the data on here. But the very first thing I did was I started getting results on the hard drive that were much lower than the size. And it was either because of the interface I was using or because of the USB interface I was going through. It wouldn't allow it to see the full size of the hard drive. Now, I made the mistake of mucking about with trying to do partition recovery, and with the wrong size, it just never worked out. So my data is lost. So that's why I say, I guess the most important thing I could say is when it comes to working with your hard drive, if you're going to be in a data recovery situation, don't do anything with it until you've spoken to a professional. Okay, I'm going to tell you all this right now.
Okay.
Don't take it into your own hands unless you are extremely confident or you've got a NASA engineer on the family. The second thing I'm going to say is don't be like me and say, "Oh, well, I've got this nifty gadget that does." No. If you're going to try and do any type of recovery on your own with the hard drive, what you want to do is you want to make sure you're going through the same type of interface it uses within your computer system itself, because then you won't hit the kind of limitations I did. I might have still recovered data from here because even though it's got bad sectors, I still could have retrieved some things from it. But because I didn't take the time to put it inside of a computer system proper, I never got the appropriate size allocation, so I never got the results I was looking for. So I wrote the data off a while ago when I didn't have to. So so if you are going to do this on your own, do your research. Go online, read everything. Understand your operating system. Understand the limits it has with hard drive sizes that it can understand. And then you can start going into using different tools to try and do data recovery. There are a lot of software packages you can find out there, even for free, that'll let you try and recover a partition. A partition is the way a hard drive is broken out for use, internally speaking. So you could do that, but you don't. But the absolute thing you don't want to do is write to it or blow away any existing partitions while you're trying to work on it. So the very first thing, if you do get it into a computer system, verify that you're looking at the same kind of size. And it's really simple. If you're on a Windows 10 machine or any Windows machine, there's a part in there. It's a disk utility or the disk manager, the console for disk management. Within there, you can generally, if the disk is hooked up and it can be seen, from there you would be able to not only see it, but also kind of see what it thinks the size is. And at that point, you're not risking writing to it.
Like the size of the partition, or just the size of its capacity?
The capacity overall.
Okay.
Overall. Because we won't get into how's a hard drive format or anything. If it was able to be seen
Right.
at a large size, you're relatively certain that you're probably safe there. But this is just some bits of advice that I want to give to people because I want to see them not repeat my mistakes. And I'm supposedly somebody that knows better. So, just keep that in mind. But always, the very first thing you want to do if it's a hard drive and you're worried about the data that's on it, you always want to try, and if you can afford it, work with a professional. Don't do it yourself. If you are pressed for funds and you do have to do it yourself, do appropriate research online. If it was your main system hard drive and you're like, I can't do research online, dick, because my computer's down, then use somebody else's computer, phone, tablet, whatever it is, to do your research. And then, like I said, try and get it into a working system. You might have to get a secondary hard drive to put a clean operating system on, so that way your computer will work. But just try and take those preventative steps. I had, I don't know, probably like 4 to 6 years worth of data on here. And now I just have a big shiny paperweight. And if I want to take it apart, I could have a very high-duty magnet. That's about all I have. So, just something to think about, just something to look out for, folks, trying to help you out. That's, that's my way. That's what I do. That's how I roll. What's the speaking of which, Trent, what's the worst kind of computer situation you've had to deal with when it comes to problems?
Motherboard shitting the bed, probably. And not knowing that it was the motherboard. Yeah, for sure.
Now, I don't mean to cut you off, but that is like one of the most frustrating things overall, because you're like, wait a minute, why is this happening? This shouldn't be happening. I'm still getting my operating system coming up, but then when it comes down to it, it's like no matter what you do, it makes no sense.
Exactly. And again, I made the mistake of trying to fix it myself, and taking the nuclear option of just like, well, it's booting. I can see stuff. Maybe I just need a clean install, but I can't access any of my stuff. I'm just gonna have to roll the die here and see what happens. So I do a clean install, a fresh wipe of everything. Still doesn't work. If I would have taken it in, they could have found out it was a motherboard. Just replace the motherboard, and then I would have still had all of my files that I lost in the process.
It certainly would have been nice, wouldn't it? Because you wouldn't have to. I mean, like even with this, with the new computer, I still had to go into an email archive to find the wonderful NetHeads animated logo that we displayed at the beginning of the show. Right there, there it is. Isn't that pretty? Isn't that wonderful? It's nice, so nice. By the way, who? What's the full Twitter handle here? Imperium Volt is sending us a wonderful image of cayenne extract. Not exactly sure why. Oh, and Ryan Connolly, ever the corporate shill, pointing out Best Buy's Geek Squad has total tech support. Thank you for that, sir. Yes, but
I'd like the hand that feeds.
I'll be goddamned if I won't blow away my own data rather than letting somebody else blow it for me. Wait a minute.
Someone blow me.
No.
What?
Nah, that's not right,
I'm
Trent.
sorry.
By the way, in case anyone has noticed, especially if you're listening to the podcast and I'm deeply in your ears, I have to apologize because, as and we mentioned before, I had a tooth that had to be taken out. And now I've progressed to the next step, Trent, which is they're trying to fix my teeth. And because of that, now I have little plastic trays in my mouth. It's the Clear Correct, which is like Invisalign.
Yeah.
But it gives me a lisp that will, I'm relatively certain after a week now, will not go away until we're done. So, and I could take them out and sound normal for everyone.
Sure.
But you got to keep these things in your mouth for like 22 hours a day in order to be compliant and get through the program as fast as possible. So I've decided, vanity and practicality aside, I'm just gonna do this. So
yeah.
In case you haven't noticed. Now, Trent,
that's smart.
We live in a unique situation. I never thought we would live in this world.
Okay.
Because last week, my buddy Trent, I'm not saying he had a shit week, but he wasn't having a good time, right? Things were going.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, man, you got time to podcast? And you're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
At which point I said, and I just kind of picked up, you were doing this and that. And I'm like, hey, buddy, let me ask you a question. I want to ask you, what was your perspective when I brought this one? I'm like, hey, when you stream videos at home, what do you do? And what was your first thought when I asked that?
I thought I thought this was going back to the cord cutting stuff, and that's where I was like, oh, I use my Plex server.
Yeah, at which point I'm like, oh, wow, that's great. That's wonderful. That's so not the answer I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, okay, well, if you were to have like a digital code where you're redeeming, like, I'm like, hey, I've sent you a few of my digital codes.
And then I was like, oh, well, yeah, Google Play, because,
There we go.
Google.
So then I said, hey, buddy, check your email. Do me a favor, man. Enjoy Avengers Infinity War on me tonight. Right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, the important question is, did you that night? Did you do it?
Yes.
Very good.
Yes.
So, long story short, too late. End of July, Infinity War comes out on digital, because it always comes out on digital first now. Because they're like, hey, let's move units without having to actually make units.
Yeah. That cost us nothing.
Yeah, exactly. But and you know what? Hey, let's make it a price premium too. Why not? Okay, guys, more power to you. So at that time, I still have hangups. Okay, I still have hangups. I can't just accept digital video. I don't know what it is. I am still a person that needs and wants a Blu-ray behind that. I want to have something tangible so I don't have to use my bandwidth, I guess is what I'm saying, right?
Okay.
I know with most services you could also download it locally and play it that way, but generally if you're doing it through your television, you're not really going to do that so much, right?
Right. And in that case, they usually put a DRM on it, so you've got to use their player to watch it usually, or casting device of some extent. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not a teenager, so I'm not watching Infinity War on my phone. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, let's be honest. I don't watch much on my phone.
Exactly. Maybe every once in a while some John Oliver, because I just can't wait for it to be on the TV, but that's about it. So where was I with this long, boring story? So when it came out on digital, one thing I know is that from my experience with Vudu and Movies Anywhere and the like, I do the majority of my digital purchases through Vudu, but what I really prefer that comes up as an option every once in a while is if it's from the right company or the right title, you can buy not only the disc, but you can buy the digital now and get a disc later. I did that with Wonder Woman, did that with Lego Batman. And it's great. It's almost like a present you forget, because a couple weeks later a box shows. I did it with Shape of Water. Like it all.
Ooh.
Yeah. That's a gorgeous movie, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. Because I was going to say, I think it came. The only problem is you buy a digital code and then nobody connects the dots. You just get sent another box, and it might. What the hell? And that might also have a digital account attached to it, right?
Indeed.
So,
yeah.
or a digital download. So that's why there have been times where I'm like, hey man, here, try out this digital code, see if it'll work, and then enjoy the movie, because now I've got two digitals technically.
Yeah.
So I went to Walmart because I couldn't do it through Vudu. So instead I went to Walmart because they seemed to have the best deal, and they were saying it would ship August 3rd. I'm like, well, that makes no sense. That's not in line with the actual street date, but what the hell? And sure enough, it wasn't right. You actually got Infinity War before I did. It finally arrived today. Yeah. Trent's number one.
Yeah.
You're happy with yourself now, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll be honest. In rewatching it, dude, the thing that I hope for the most out of it all is that we can now have the Red Skull as a reoccurring villain in the movies.
It's interesting you brought that up, because the Russos did mention, even though he doesn't really have the ability probably to get off the planet, now that Thanos, spoilers, got the Soul Stone,
right?
There's nothing for him to quote unquote guard anymore. So now he's free to go after them.
His bonds have been lifted, I would assume.
Now, but for me, the only reason why that would make sense, just because I'm stuck in comic book lore.
Sure.
It would only make sense if Chris Evans is still Captain America. Sure, maybe Bucky has a bit of a beef with him.
But he never exactly. He never went toe to toe, with Red Skull. Red Skull has got a literal axe to well, not literal, but a figurative axe to grind and vengeance to try and reap against Captain America.
Yeah, exactly. It all makes sense to me. But when it comes to Bucky, I don't get the connection.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is cool, especially the way they did it. Even though it's a
Oh.
different actor and impersonation, it still was good enough for me. I have yet to sit down and still watch it digitally, but I did. Okay, that's not true. I of course I entered my digital code and I quickly looked at some extras and then I loaded up the movie. And I got to tell you, I'm so disappointed because I have tried time and again. Both times I saw it in the movie theater, but now I finally got to see it here at home, and it's just such a letdown. I'm always looking for Easter eggs because I got nothing better to do with my life. And for the life of me, I have been trying and trying and trying to see what was on the billboard that Ma throws at Peter Parker / Spider-Man when they're dashing through the city with the wizard in tow, right?
Yes.
And I finally found it. It was a Rocket Loans billboard. It's like, oh, God damn it. I thought it was going to be something cool, like Stark related, or
Yeah, or Daily Planet, maybe.
Well, no, listen. Oh, not Daily. The Daily
Bugle. Sorry.
Daily Bugle. Yeah, I thought it might be something. I'm like, oh no, it's it literally is a product placement, and I got snookered. But now that you've had it at home, are there any other details that you've been able to pick up on that you didn't see theatrically?
Not that I can think of. It does. This is definitely confirmation bias, or my own confirmation bias. But I still believe that the end when we see Thanos, I believe he's actually in the Reality Stone.
Really? You don't even think he is? You think he is not even the Soul Stone? You mean he's in the Reality Stone? He's well, and the thing that I will say about that, I can back you up on this because the location of that moon around the planet seems very similar to the one that he pulls down on top of Tony Stark.
Exactly. And tangentially, another idea I might have had is that it seemed that he left everything up to chance as far as the culling of everyone, right? Maybe he too was cold.
No, he wasn't. Well, actually, now I'm starting to mix things up. Because, one of the things I do enjoy watching is the Nerdist news, okay? I don't know why.
Yeah.
Because, they just speculate the same way we all do on shit.
Right.
Totally.
But
I really enjoy it. And they did have one thing that they were talking about where they were essentially saying, does it, or maybe it was something that the producers had hinted at, but I'm pretty sure it was a Nerdist video that I saw this at, Nerdist News, where they were just saying, they were speculating that, Thanos might have included himself in the snap, and I think he was almost disappointed when he comes back from the little journey to the Soul Stone, realizing, nope, I'm still really here. I did not get taken away. I survived it. I was not chosen. I mean, obviously, and this is the detail I never really got to see in the theater, but I definitely saw it at home. I saw that the glove was jacked, but boy, oh boy, he was pretty messed up too, because he had got, I mean, that whole arm just looks horrible. He was severely damaged.
Yes.
The only thing, though, is I think that the hole made by Stormbringer, I think that was healed. But then again, you know what? He may have just used the Reality Stone and the Time Stone to send himself way in the past into Titan's history as well.
Right.
We don't know.
Yeah,
we just
exactly.
We don't have the science, Trent. We don't know.
Yeah, we aren't Kevin Feige. We don't know.
No, we don't. And by the way, did you ever get to see Ant-Man and the Wasp in the theater?
Oh, I did. I saw it before Movie Pass shit the bed and it became a completely useless subscription.
That was the next thing I was going to ask you about, because you're like, well, no, I got the grandfather Movie Pass, so I can see what I see, and I see it all and thing. But the whole thing, we're missing one part of the equation if we want to really be nerds about this, because we haven't seen Captain Marvel yet. Okay.
Right.
So I think we've already gotten hints that, well, obviously because Scott is in it, the quantum realm is going to come into play eventually.
Right.
Right. That's part of something. And they even made mention of like time portals or time holes or time tears within the quantum realm.
Right.
So, maybe that's how Scott's going to get out. I don't know. We don't know how any of the, and I think that's the way I like it. I'm glad that the movie ended in a way where we really don't have any solid way to guess how we're going to get out of this mess in Infinity War, other than the fact that Doctor Strange told us that, this is the only way we'll win.
Yeah.
So, which in a way, actually, if you think about it, is kind of brilliant writing, because they're like, we're gonna present you with some really serious crap, but remember what the wizard said, please.
Yes. Because
don't forget what the wizard said, because everything will be okay.
Thank you. Yes, and at the end, if you can't answer it, just tell him a wizard did it.
Yeah. Oh, but man, still my favorite line in the whole movie is, like, what's up with this guy? He is here to get he is from space to get a necklace from a wizard.
From a wizard.
It's the best line ever. And the way, oh God, I could blow this movie all day, man. It is just, I can't wait to see it again and again and again and again.
Yep. Agreed.
But I have to admit, I'm kind of shocked at the way that these movies are turning out to home video now, because Deadpool 2 already out on digital.
Yeah.
And once again, Infinity War was still in theaters the very week that it was on digital in my area. Deadpool 2 was still in theaters the week that it dropped on digital.
Yeah.
What the hell, man?
Well, I would guess the sooner you get it out, there's a term and I forget what it is, but in economics, whereas like if you have something at the right price point that's easily available, you're not going to compete with piracy.
Yeah, good point. Very good point.
And the longer you have it out, the more chance you leave yourself open to piracy, and then for that to spread, like and then you're losing, opportunities to make money. So that would be my guess.
You bring up a very salient point there, Trent, because I will say that well, let's just say I've been a man of questionable means in the past, but because the price points are okay and the accessibility is there, I will look to legitimate pathways before anything else now.
I do too. And it's and it's not that I'm in that much of a better place financially or anything, but like I don't have to navigate that side of the internet that is, pretty unsafe. And then I always have it. I own it. At least my copy of it. I can always like access it whenever I want to. It's not like oh yeah, let's see if that's on that website. I want to try and like see if someone has a good rip of it that's actually synced well with the audio. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just the value is so much more than the time that's spent in trying to like get around the minimal cost now.
Yeah, I think for me it's just a matter of it makes me feel better to know I'm doing things right.
Yeah.
I'm also really pissed that the camera's not working, Trent. We'll get to Movie Pass in 1 second, and then you can finally go have a life. But I have to admit, it was like Teams or Team Up was the theme of the Loot Crate last month. And by the way, if you want to sign up, you can. NetHeads, just go to lootcrate.com/NetHeads. You can sign up, get a discount. I'm not here to really kind of talk that up. And I really don't care about anything else that was in the crate, to be honest. Bill and Ted excellent picture frame. That's actually kind of cool.
Oh, yeah.
But the thing that I love, because it was like Team Up or Teams, Loot Crate, you're always guaranteed a T-shirt, right? And unfortunately, I can't show you how badass this one is, but it was an awesome Ant-Man T-shirt, and it's kind of it has Ant-Man centered, and there's kind of a visual effect to it of framing of the size and it reducing down, so that way you can tell it's Scott Lang having been shrunken down, or it could be Hank Pym, we don't know. But then I was very shocked to lift up that shirt and Ant-Man is in red, and then find another T-shirt, because naturally it's Team Ups, and it's in yellow, it's the Wasp.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that was definitely one of those times where I'm like, Loot Crate, thank you. But I will say that having gotten my act together and my life a little more in alignment, I have a problem, Trent. I have too many T-shirts.
Oh, yes, I've been there.
I hang them up in the closet, and there is an entire, like, half of my walk-in area is nothing but T-shirts.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing. Some of them yours now, too. So I've only compounded the problem.
Yeah.
So I don't know what. Maybe soon we're gonna have a NetHeads raffle on T-shirts. Who knows?
Yeah.
So Trent, what was your perspective on the whole movie pass thing? Obviously, the great question had finally been answered. How can they afford to do this? And that answer was they can't.
They can't. Yep. They just can't. No. Long story short, here's my gist. I was talking to a colleague today. I hope, if nothing else, that this has proved that there is an interest in it, right? And then take it out of a third party, and now let theater chains create their own packages, right?
Trent, AMC has done that already. AMC is doing it.
We don't have it. I think we have one AMC theater here in Utah. The big one here is the former owner of the Jazz, Larry H. Miller. His company, the Larry H. Miller, owns pretty much all the theaters here. It would be so simple for them to do this, right? To create a package, a VIP pass or whatever. The thing that they could do though, as a and I'm hoping AMC is doing this, as they are the actual vendor, they could then include concessions as part of the deal, right? And that would be the huge selling point, because concessions, the cost for them is nothing. Well,
big internet stutter there.
I'm just saying, like they have control over concessions, so make that as the incentive for people to join, and I think that would be a huge bonus that MoviePass could never deliver on.
That's true. That is true. And right now, okay, so the way it works at AMC is they've got their AMC Stubs Club right now. And it gives you certain perks. Like if I had used Fandango in order to order my tickets, I would get my processing feedback. So it was just like buying them at the box office.
Okay.
They also have 2 separate lines for concession stands. The lowly scum that has to go there, and then the Stubs premium members where you get a much shorter line.
Nice.
And so now they've introduced it as the VIP program, and I think you get like 1 free movie a week for it. So
I think it's brilliant.
So yeah, if you could tie that in with concessions, though, then what you're doing is you're asking an upfront investment for families to find an affordable way to go to the movie theater.
Yes.
Because I don't want to have to pull out a credit card and go into debt because I'm getting food for the whole family. And it used to be that they were like, because they've even gotten tighter. It used to be if you had this, you could get refills on a large popcorn. Now you get a refill on a large popcorn. That's it. So you could buy a large popcorn and essentially get 2, if you brought an extra container or a bag or what have you, which is fine. But it's kind of that value add kind of went away. Adding concessions is just genius. It's like you could have one. It's like, okay, there are certain parts of the menu. You can have one of those, and one of those. So you can get a regular drink, you can get a such and such popcorn, and then a smack on the rear, and you go on your way. And you can do that for everyone in your party. That would be perfect.
Yep. Yeah.
Although,
well, and on top of that too, right? So part of this, whatever tier you opt into, right? Then have like specific showings for these VIP people, right? Where it's only day before or congruently with all the other ones, but you get your own special thing where it's fill your own popcorn or whatever. Like as a movie chain, or even just like a local movie house, you could do so much with it now, knowing that there's a huge market for it.
I just got to call out a dick for being a dick real quick. Ryan Connolly, Carvel on Twitter, says the AMC Stubs Club.
Okay.
I've been dealing with this enough in my goddamn life. I'm talking about something and I see my wife laughing out of the corner of my eye.
Well, and it sucks because I haven't yet to still even notice it.
You have yet to notice twit? I'm on the other side of the line, sir. I'm always here.
To notice it.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful time of joking that I am Sid the Sloth from the Ice Age movies, so that's really nice. And sometimes it's more pronounced than I would like. Other times, I work my way through words okay. So I don't know what the all I know is I didn't. This is gonna sound stupid. I didn't buy into all this, Trent. I bought it. I bought in originally just to let's get the gap done between the bottom teeth. Okay, right. But apparently 6 in one, half a dozen the other. Is one tray versus two doesn't matter. So there's like a little gap that between one of my eye teeth and the big tooth behind it, and they decided to tighten that one up too, and that's the part that is the worst. Because
is it painful?
No. Well, I mean, it's actually I've never had orthodontia before. Did you ever go through braces as a youth?
3 years, man. It freaking killed.
I'm sorry to hear that, man. I will say that when I first put them in, and by the way, I'm like right now I'm lightweight. I've got to go through I think of 6 weeks. So it's this set of trays for 3 weeks, then another set of trays for 3 weeks. Then they're going to put on what they call engagers, which, are like little bumps on key teeth, so the difficult moves.
Okay.
But the very first time they put it in, I'm like, oh yeah, that's tight. That's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But and now I really only kind of get it in that eye tooth area. The other one just kind of goes on. So, but that's the same jawline that went through the trauma with the tooth being taken out. So I think that one's already kind of used to being jacked around. What I'm not used to is the times because you have to take them. I have to take them out of my mouth to eat, and I have to take them out to drink my coffee. So now I'm naturally just having my coffee with my breakfast, and when they come out and you're trying to eat, they're sensitive. But that's about it. I mean, look compared to everything else I've had, pain wise, this is nothing so far. I can deal with this. This is fine.
Yeah.
So what? I sound like Daffy Duck's stupid cousin. Whatever. At least I don't sound like Donald Duck, right?
Or Donald someone else.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that one's easy. I was thinking about that because there are certain people I hear and certain impressions I hear them do. One of them you may know, and we have similar vocal ranges. So, like if it's an impersonation that, for example, Ralph does, I could probably pull it off. But I'm not going to crib his deal.
Well, I was just going to say, like, we always make jokes that, like, oh, I don't do an Ed McMahon. I do a Phil Hartman doing Ed McMahon, right?
Yeah.
And you can emulate the stuff that Ralph does beautifully.
I can, but I'm just doing an impression of Ralph doing an impression.
Exactly, right? Yeah.
Which is even hackier than doing an impression. Okay, wait a minute. Let me rephrase. Now that I've just put that out in the universe. Ralph, I'm sorry. Impressions aren't hacky. That's not what I meant.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Kevin Nealon. Take me back. Babe.
Exactly. Oh, man. Anyway, Trent, was there anything else you wanted to talk about before we go off into that gentle goodnight?
No, just,
Well, there was one thing. It was way before the show was supposed to, or back when we were supposed to start. You're like, oh, yeah, bring that up to me. And I forgot what it was.
Me too. Probably good if I had some rage behind it. Just let it go, man.
Yeah,
let it
exactly.
Go.
Just cleanse yourself. Just get it out of your system. That's all you got to do.
Douche it out.
Exactly. Thank you. I appreciate that. Anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in. I don't know what the hell's going on. We better get out of here now. But until next time, whenever that may be. Actually, I'll tell you what. And I keep threatening to do this, and I'm going to because I need to talk more in order to supposedly get around the list.
Sure.
So, whether Trent is available or not, I may just start pumping out podcasts. Believe it or not, if you go to the NetHeads on Air website, there is a Patreon page. I may start doing some exclusive things there. I keep threatening these things, and nobody believes me, I think, now at this point, Trent.
I'm going to do it. I'll do it.
Exactly. So, anyway, we better get loose so that way Michael Cera can have a life and get some dinner and stuff, because
he doesn't have a bit in his mouth, but he is chomping.
He's getting ready. I love the fact that you named the dog Michael Cera. So can I just say, like Michael Cera is laying on your floor in front of a fan and he really wants to go outside soon.
Yeah, and he's just soaking wet. I hosed him down and he just wants to go outside and just piss all over the place.
Exactly. Well, that's what happens when you work with evaporative cooling. It's just...
It's true.
Although I will say there have been a few times I've been tempted to do your one trick with bagging up the top sheet and throw it in the freezer for a little bit of time.
Dude, it is friggin' glorious.
But how long does it last? I mean, how long do you feel?
It's short.
It's a brief window.
It's short-lived, but like it's just enough to like if you're tired to like, oh yeah, this is good, and then drift off.
It's kind of like a junkie with a fix. It's not the same rush you always got. But there's a little bit of something before it fades fast.
I would say it's the closest I can get to like a really cold hotel room. You know what I'm talking about when you just and you get into those sheets and they're just like, oh, it's the best.
What is it about us with thermostats and hotel rooms, by the way? It's like, I'm going to turn this down to 64 and I'm going to require every single blanket in this place to actually be able to sustain myself through the night. It's like suddenly energy conservation, environmental concerns, and the fact these guys got an electric bill to pay with, we don't give a shit. We're going to be storing meat on top of the dresser while we're here, and that's that.
Yep, it's true.
Every single time. I don't know why.
Yep.
I actually, the only time I didn't do that is during Comic-Con because my daughter was in the room too. Which, by the way, she has an interesting philosophy. She will not sleep in the sheets of a hotel bed. She doesn't want to do that. Instead, she'll sleep on top of one of her blankets on top of the comforter and then have another blanket. Now, I'm not calling my daughter out as being weird. That's her thing. That's fine. But I actually discovered that is a market sector that people are appealing to, because if you go to Bed Bath & Beyond, they have a travel blanket sleeping bag that you can lay in, so that way you don't have to lay out the hotel sheets.
Really?
It's a lightweight. It's honestly, it looks like somebody stitched together 2 mattress pads and made a human bag to me. But like the kind of thing you quickly stitch together to get rid of the butt. I've said too much, Trent. I think it's time to go. Until next time, folks. My name is Will,
and I'm Trent,
and we'll be back
soon.
Maybe. I don't know.
This is NetHeads with Will Wilkins and Trent Hunsaker. Signing off. I know, right? But stop being a little Nancy and deal with it. NetHeads. We'll be back soon.
Goodbye.
This has been a production of Smodco Internet Radio. Sir, only at smodcast.com.
Ever since you have said that now, I'm really oversensitive about the whole little Nancy thing. I mean, who is the original little Nancy, and why are we using this in a derogatory fashion?
I probably for like a Nancy boy. Is that a term? Is that a thing?
A bit of a Nancy lad, if you will. Maybe. I think in the etymology of things, you may have hit the word. No, wait.
I'll look it up and let you know for the next episode. I do love etymology.
Yeah, that much I know, and I don't blame you, because like even some of the common colloquialisms we use, it's like, how did we get to this? Like something as simple as fuck off. What exactly? Why is that bad? How did we get there? Fuck you. I don't really understand. I'm sorry for the language, but I don't understand that one either. Because really, honestly, that sounds more like something I would beg somebody for. May I? You know what I mean? So,
story of my life,
right? Or, yeah, good point, man. Oh wait, no, I'm married. I'm not supposed to say that.